Good morning, America. Disaster emergency. Catastrophic flooding in the heartland. Towns underwater. Evacuations ordered. Massive amounts of rain spilling rivers over their banks. The situation this morning, while more than 100 million Americans are under heat alerts from coast to coast. 100-year-old record set to be shattered. Our weather team tracking it all.
Gaza targets the Israeli strikes on one of the deadliest days of the war in weeks. At least 49 people killed, plus the new fears about an escalation and widening conflict in the Mideast.
Fast food wars. McDonald set to launch its $5 value meals. What you'll get as other national food chains launch their own appetizing deals in the battle for your bucks.
Timberlake talks.
We've been together through ups and downs.
The singer's first comment since his DWI arrest.
It's been a tough week.
His onstage message in front of thousands of fans, and now the court date conflict involving his tour.
Holiday travel, what to expect for July 4th weekend as millions of Americans take off. A travel expert shares her advice, plus reveals her 3-3-3 rule to help you pack light.
And the elephant in the room.
They call me Big Ellie.
Ellie, the official mascot of the WNBA's New York Liberty, taking social media by storm, from her outfits to her halftime show, and overnight, why the Beehive is buzzing.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Look at Ellie go. Good morning, America. Good to see you. Janae is on her way to a very exciting foreign assignment, but we are happy to have Rhiannon Alley back with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you love Ellie.
I do. I love Ellie. I love Liberty Games. It's the braid for me.
Yeah,
that little braid
absolutely.
She swings
that
around.
Little braid. So we're going to have more from Ellie very soon here, but it is a very busy Sunday ahead here. The presidential election shifting in high gear this week with the first 2024 debate. Each candidate preparing this weekend, but in vastly different ways. Trump with campaign rallies and briefings, Biden with mock debates over at Camp David.
Also ahead, we're talking about those cyber attacks that have been disrupting car dealers across the U.S. all week. A key software supplier to dealers hit by back-to-back attacks. Service and sales both affected at thousands of dealers.
But we begin here with the flooding catastrophe in Iowa and the dangerous heat blanketing much of the U.S. Let's get right to meteorologist Samara Theodore tracking it all. Samara, good morning.
Good morning. That's right. So we have seen substantial flooding along with the record-breaking heat. Let's go ahead and take a look.
This morning, a disaster emergency in the heartland following catastrophic flooding in Iowa. 21 counties virtually underwater following massive rainfall, which appears to have blindsided many residents early Saturday, now forced to be evacuated. Drone video capturing the aftermath of the torrential downpours in Sioux County. The water submerging homes as rescue crews scramble to reach stranded residents.
Things have been changing along the Big Sioux. This is new territory for us.
Governor Kim Reynolds looking over the floods from above. The flooding part of a wild start to the summer season.
I think I've had enough because it seems like it's rained about every day for the last 2 weeks. So I'm ready for it to dry out a little bit.
Hail and more heavy rain battering the southern U.S., New Mexico, Texas, and Florida facing strong storms. All the rain coming as more than 100 million Americans coping with scorching temperatures. The I-95 corridor baked.
The heat is just unimaginable.
Temperatures in the nation's capital hit 100 degrees, the first time in June since 2012.
It's very hot. It's too hot.
And to think, cities like Washington, D.C. not anticipated to see much in the way of relief today. If you look, you can see all of the major heat we're experiencing today is really in the I-95 corridor. That's where we could see extreme long-duration events, overnight heat. Not much relief in the way of that. Tallahassee could hit a heat index value of 112 degrees today. That's how hot it could feel. Where you're seeing the red boxes, that is where we have the potential to break records. But notice how in Philadelphia on Monday, we cooled down just a hair, a few degrees. Why is that? Well, we have a round of storms coming in. And while they will help to cool things down at 5 p.m., we could see some severe weather in parts of New England. Anything from damaging winds to tornadoes is possible in the Northeast this afternoon. Gio?
Yeah, just so hot out there. All right, tomorrow we'll see you very soon again here. And now to politics. The first presidential debate of 2024 just 4 days away. Each candidate preparing this weekend in their own way. ABC News political director Rick Klein joins us with more on this. Rick, good morning to you. What are the stakes for the candidates here, and what do the polls show going into this debate?
Good morning, Gio. We have never seen a presidential debate happen this early in the election cycle, this many months out. We've also almost never seen a race that's been this close, this consistently for this long a period of time. And check this out. Just in the last couple of days, we've seen the 538 polling average essentially flip. The slightest of edges for Joe Biden over Donald Trump in national polling. This is the first time all year that Biden has any kind of a numerical advantage, but that is not much of an edge. This is essentially a tied race, essentially a coin flip, and both campaigns are agreeing on at least one thing. They're looking forward to something that puts this front and center for voters, allows them to make the contrast, and gets voters to start to focus on the very real choice ahead.
And Rick, Trump told his audience on Saturday that his vice presidential pick would be there for the debate. What do we know about his possible choices?
Well, that's hardly an exclusive club on one level, Gio. We're expecting maybe a dozen Trump surrogates and supporters, elected officials, to be on hand in Atlanta. But we are told at ABC News that there are a handful of individuals that the Trump team is focused on, asking for additional documentation, more vetting details from people including Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota, Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio, and Senator Marco Rubio from Florida. Also, Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina is on that list. We're expecting all of those men and many others to be on hand in Atlanta, and it may be that Trump is narrowing. He says he's already basically made up his mind whether that's where he goes or not.
Money, money, money. That's the name of the game. What's new on the fundraising side of all this?
This is striking, Gio, because for months we've been talking about how Biden has a massive cash edge, as much as $100 million advantage in cash on hand for his campaign in the DNC just a couple of months ago. That is now gone. The latest reports show that Donald Trump essentially erased the entire cash advantage just in the last 2 months. And it really shows two things. One is a lot of big dollar donors, high-profile Republican fundraisers that were skeptical of Trump are now coming back into the fold, and small dollar donors truly reacted to the guilty conviction that he had in New York a couple weeks ago. We've seen a surge in online donations, and right now essentially parity, not just in the polls, but also in the money.
All right, Rick Klein, always such a pleasure to have you here on a Sunday. Thank you so much, my friend. And Thursday night on ABC, watch the CNN presidential debate simulcast. It all starts at 8 p.m. Eastern with the ABC News special Race for the White House with David Muir and the ABC News political team. That's Thursday night right here on ABC. What?
Gio, overseas now to the Israel-Hamas war. Desperate rescue efforts continue this morning to treat the wounded in Gaza following intense Israeli attacks that left dozens dead. All of this ahead of key talks in Washington between U.S. and Israeli officials. ABC's Tom Soufi Burridge is in Tel Aviv with the latest. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, we're just learning about fresh strikes in Gaza overnight on a particularly deadly weekend. And just days after Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu publicly criticised the Biden administration over weapon supplies, Israel's defense minister on his way to Washington today saying he'll hold key talks with U.S. officials about the next phase of the war. This morning, harrowing new video of fresh Israeli strikes in Gaza, with young children rescued from the rubble. It comes after a series of Israeli strikes Saturday, with more than 50 people killed and more than 100 wounded, according to Palestinian officials. A young boy covered in dust rushed from the scene. The Israeli military saying its fighter jets struck 2 Hamas military sites in Gaza City. Those strikes coming just a day after the International Committee for the Red Cross said 22 people were killed and 45 injured after heavy projectiles damaged one of its offices near to an encampment for displaced Palestinians. This Red Cross official describing the horror.
Within moments, we had a flood of wounded people show up at the gate of our compound. There were piles of dead bodies, blood everywhere, frankly. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Overnight in Tel Aviv, tens of thousands of anti-government protesters on the streets.
Well, these Israelis want an election, they want a hostage deal. But with ceasefire talks stalling, there's no sense of how and when the war in Gaza will end.
And while the war in Gaza drags on, Israel this weekend trading more attacks across its northern border with Iran-backed Hezbollah.
And guys, the threat of a wider escalation along Israel's border with Lebanon also on the agenda when Israel's defense minister Yoav Gallant meets face-to-face with US officials in Washington before departing Israel this morning. Gallant underlining the importance of Israel's relationship
with the U.S.
Important talks ahead. All right, Tom Soufi Burridge, thank you. And tune into This Week later this morning. Martha Raddatz speaks with Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren. Plus, more on how this upcoming presidential debate will be unlike any other with an expert panel and the Powerhouse Roundtable. Rhiannon?
All right, we turn now to the arrival of the USS Theodore Roosevelt in South Korea. The nuclear-powered aircraft carrier reaching port just days after Russian President Putin's warning about arming North Korea. ABC's Britt Clennett is in Hong Kong with more on this. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, Rhiannon. Yeah, the USS Roosevelt arrived in Busan for pre-planned drills with South Korea and Japan. The countries really appearing to ramp up military training in the face of growing threats from North Korea. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin meeting Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang, agreeing that they would help each other out in the event of aggression. Now, the Roosevelt's scheduled stop in Busan comes 7 months after a similar port call by another U.S. carrier. The American military exercises with South Korea and Japan called Freedom Edge. Now, they've been long in the making, but this is really another marker of the growing cooperation between these countries. Seoul and Tokyo increasingly willing to put their differences aside to counter threats in the region, including an assertive China and North Korea's growing military arsenal. South Korea's military said the arrival of the Roosevelt, it demonstrates the strong defense posture of these allies and a stern willingness to respond to advancing threats from North Korea. Seoul also summoned the Russian ambassador to protest that defense agreement with North Korea. Also, South Korea warning it may consider sending weapons to Ukraine to help defend it against Russia's invasion. Now, during Putin's lavish North Korean trip, Kim Jong-un declared his full backing and solidarity for Russia's war in Ukraine, while Putin thanked Kim for his unwavering support. Gio.
Rising tensions indeed. All right, Britt, thank you so much. And back here at home now to the Supreme Court with some major rulings due this week. ABC's Christian Cordero joins us now with the details from Washington. Good morning, Christian.
Gio, good morning. To give you an idea of how high the stakes are here, the Supreme Court still has 15 cases left to decide, several of which could have an immediate impact on the 2024 election. Among what's still left, does Donald Trump or any former president have absolute immunity from criminal prosecution? The case stems from former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, including his alleged involvement in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He claims presidents cannot be prosecuted for official actions they took in office. Also, still in front of the Supreme Court, the biggest abortion case since the court overturned Roe versus Wade 2 years ago. It asks whether abortion access is protected by federal law when a woman's health is at risk. At odds with that federal law is Idaho's state ban on abortions unless necessary to protect her life, not her health. And the Supreme Court is set to rule on whether a city can ban homeless encampments, even if the unhoused have nowhere else to go. It is the Supreme Court's biggest case on homelessness in more than 40 years, with consequences in cities and towns across the country. Whit?
Definitely something to watch. Christian, thank you. We appreciate it. Now to the cyber attack that's crippled operations at thousands of car dealers in the last week. ABC's Alexis Christoforous is here with more. And Alexis, this has caused some serious problems. Good morning.
Serious is right. Good morning, Whit. If you had trouble getting something as simple as an oil change at your local car dealer this past week, you're not alone. A major auto industry software provider, CDK Global, says it was hit by back-to-back cyber attacks on Wednesday, crippling business at roughly 15,000 auto dealerships in the U.S. and Canada. CDK Global says the hack left thousands of dealers unable to process appointments for things like car maintenance and repairs or complete sales transactions, including signing buyers up for financing and insurance. Now, several major auto companies, including Ford, Stellantis, and GM, confirming the outage has impacted some of their dealers, with many switching to manual processes to serve customers. CDK says it shut down all systems as a precaution and is investigating the incident. It hasn't said who's behind the cyber attacks, but Bloomberg says the hackers are demanding tens of millions of dollars in ransom to restore operations. Now, as for how long the outage will last, well, CDK didn't respond to ABC's request for comment, but dealers are saying they're being told operations could be down for several days. So expect possible delays and even some vehicle orders written by hand the old-fashioned way. Rhiannon?
Taking it old school. Thanks, Alexis. Sure. Now to the fast food wars heating up as major chains try to win back customers strained by those rising food costs. McDonald's is the latest to launch a $5 deal. ABC's Jacqueline Lee joins us now with details. Jacqueline, of course, families can use some relief. Maybe this could help.
Hey, Rhiannon, yes, that's right. Good morning to you. McDonald's kicking off their summer of value in just a few days. This as customers push back on higher than normal prices. This morning, inflation fatigue hitting consumers looking for a quick meal. From grocery store prices to those skyrocketing fast food meals. As the current inflation rate sits at 3.3%, food away from home is 4% higher than it was about a year ago, creating a huge buzz on social media.
Can we talk about how ridiculous fast food prices are anymore?
Fast food chains feeling the heat and bringing back the deals. On Tuesday, McDonald's kicking off their meal of the season at participating locations, which includes a double cheeseburger or chicken sandwich, small fries, 4-piece nuggets, and a small soft drink for $5. Several other fast food chains, including Wendy's, Burger King, and KFC, also bringing back deals from their value menus for meals $5 or less.
The fast food chains want to keep customers coming to their stores. They need to have people coming. So by promoting a value meal, for example, you're going to attract more attention.
Starbucks with a crave-worthy pairings deal at participating stores, 1 drink and 1 butter croissant or a breakfast sandwich starting at $5. As years of higher prices continue to make consumers nervous about food away from home, fast food companies taking notice of the lost customer loyalty and lower revenues. But those value menus may not be permanent.
You're going to attract more attention, build more awareness, and you're going to generate more traffic back to the store to take advantage of these. They probably are temporary.
Again, experts emphasizing that these deals likely won't last long because companies are just trying to get people back in the door. The president of McDonald's writing in a press release that they're focused on giving customers value. Guys.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you so much for that.